The next adverb, the second sort of the adverb is the past participle. The past participle as an adverb is applied in a clause that is stated in the perfect tense. The past participle as an adverb describes the definition of the intransitive verb have. The speaker declares the completion of the experience at the point in time the speaker retains the experience. The experience is able to be called as an experience because the experience is finished when the speaker declares the completion. You can ask a question. What does the subject have? Because the experience of the subject is described by the intransitive verb have. We can think that the subject has a period of time until the completion. The period of time is the premise of the existence of the subject. So, the speaker does not reveal the object of the verb have, obviously, but the listeners are aware that the subject has a period of time. The verb have is considered as the intransitive verb because the speaker does not state the object that is a period, obviously. Then let's think of the interaction between the subject and the period when the experience of the subject lasts. Then the subject and the period influence mutually. There is a clause. The subject, the pigeons, have a period. The subject respond to the flow of the time during the period. This can be understood when we plan to watch a TV show at 2 p.m. We watch the clock to see whether it is 2 p.m. or not. To the flow of time. Then the speaker understands that the subject is the period and the pigeons. The object, the subject have a period the existence. The subject that become the object of the period. In this perspective, that the subject get the influence from the period when the experience lasts. The subject the pigeons respond to the period with the existence. So the existence of the subject, the pigeons, into the past participle being. Because the past participle is applied to the object in a subject-object relationship. The object gets the experience, condition, or action from the subject and finishes the subject and object relationship with the subject. The subject, the pigeons, have the period. The period influences the subject, the pigeons, to finish period. Then the subject, the pigeons, become the object to get the influence of the period to finish the interaction with the period. The experience is furthermore, the subject, the pigeons, the speaker declares that the experience of the subject, the pigeons, is finished at the present because of the present tense the intransitive verb have. How the subject respond to the period of time when the experience lasts. The subject respond to the period with the existence. The past participle fed describes the subject. The subject, the pigeons, was fed from an unstated subject, and the subject, the pigeons, are fed at the present from the unstated subject. From the past to the present, the subject have been in the condition to get the action indicated by the transitive verb feed. The adverb of frequency barely describes the past participle being as an adverb. So the listeners can understand the existence of the subject during the period when the experience lasts was not so frequent. But whenever the pigeons have existed, the pigeons have been in the condition to get the action indicated by the transitive verb feed 100%. So the past participle being as an adverb and the past participle as an adjective to describe the subject form a consecutive unit of definitions. The speaker reveals that the subject, the pigeons, practice the role of the object in the relationship with the period as the subject by the form of the past participle being as an adverb to specify the definition of the intransitive verb have. The transitive verb have is applied to reveal the object, the pigeons retain the period that the experience lasts from a point in the past to the present. The most basic premise to state a clause is that the subject exists in a point in time and in a place. The speaker does not always state the most basic premise. In this perspective, the object of the verb have is not stated, but we are aware of the most basic premise. That's the reason the verb have, known as a transitive verb, is considered as an intransitive verb in this clause, stated in the perfect tense. The period as the subject is not revealed as an obvious object of the transitive verb have, but we are aware the most basic premise. Because the period is the premise for the object, the pigeons, to exist. So, the verb have is stated with the trait of the intransitive verb in a clause to signify the experience of the object, with the consideration that the speaker applies the transitive verb have to reveal the premise that the subject to interact with is the period.